Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Tech Talk. I'm your host, Steve Santamouris, and I'm joined by El Jefe, the boss, Mario Zaki. What's going on, Mario?
How are you, Steve? Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see. Well, originally we said we were going to do this weekly, and then it went to monthly, and then it went to seasonally. Season, is that a word?
Yeah,
And
quarterly.
yeah, quarterly. And now we're almost missed the one quarter. We're about to go into winter and we missed fall. Um,
Oh.
you going to say something?
No, I'm saying we've been crazy busy. We're saving the
Yeah.
world one computer at a time.
Yeah, yeah. So today's topic is really, something we've been hearing a lot about, which is like kind of a different philosophy, which is like it's called assume breach, which is basically, most conversations that business owners have around security or with their IT company is really about, can they get in? Is this protected? But not many are really just assuming, okay, well, what happens when they get in? Right. And
Hmm.
that's really kind of like how AI is changing everything. Like you can't, unless the security is being layered, correct me if I'm wrong. And even then you have to test it. But most businesses we go into, they're relying on either an antivirus or a firewall, sometimes not even both. Um, and so, if an AI is able to get around that, I mean, they're in already.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. To add to what you're saying, we do sit with a lot of customers. We sat one with the other day, and they're like, "Oh, well, as far as firewall, we're good. We have a Sonic wall." And even though Sonic Wall is a good system, it needs to be configured, correctly. It's not out of the box configured, and it has to be kept up with. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Unfortunately, Sonic Wall, one of the bigger systems, firewalls out there, require manual updates. So whenever they release a new update, sometimes it's even for just security purposes, you have to go in there, manually update it. It will take everybody off the internet, so you have to do it after hours. And we see people that don't really feel like they don't want to come in early or stay late, so they kind of push it off. And then all of a sudden their patches are 2 years behind.
Right. And most companies when they hear of, I mean, I was just speaking to someone this morning. When they hear the word pen test or test, it's people are usually thinking of it as like this giant thing that's going to take a bunch of time, and essentially, and also very expensive, right? But the simpler kind of test is to essentially like go from the point of someone like clicking something, right? An employee making a mistake, going on downloading something or clicking something, as opposed to, and not as opposed to, but I'm just saying like the traditional pen test, like, the box that you're dropping off, that you're setting up, is going to pick up always tons of vulnerabilities, correct? Because it's
Correct.
basically scanning every IP. So while that's good, I think, for internal IT people, because you're going to get like a 30-page geek report, another way to kind of test the network in this kind of philosophy of assumed breach is assume your employee is going to make a mistake and click on something that they're not supposed to. And something is going to download on your side. And if that something happens to be like a polymorphic AI or something that's going to adapt based on your security, what would happen at that point? Like, what can it access?
Yeah. So in situations like that, it can be in two different directions, right? What we see a lot is like it's a link, maybe directing them to a page that looks legit, or actually connect them to a Microsoft looking site. They put in their username and password, or just even if they have the token on their computer, they pretty much given them access to their Microsoft 365 account. And that's where you see, they'll create rules. They can interact with customers that you, or vendors that you're constantly working with. They pretty much take over your Microsoft email account, or they just start spamming out of the email address, hoping that other people click on it. It spreads like COVID. It just will spread very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other way, the other route that it could be is internal. If it downloads something or runs something in the background, and it could be just from like an attachment of an Excel or PowerPoint or
Mhm.
PDF or even a Word document, then that's where, kind of like what you were saying, you'll discover stuff on the network and leech onto the stuff that's vulnerable
And it could be on a site also, right? It doesn't necessarily.
on websites.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll tell you something that I didn't even tell you this, so you're probably gonna yell at me. But I got an email. This was the other night I was here, and I don't know how they knew. Again, they could just be taking a stab in the dark, but it was fantasy football related, and I was wondering why it came to my email, and it said, "Are you in last place?" And I am in last place. So but wait. So it said that there's a free what was it? A free breakdown of something for like this coming week, and I don't know. This thing is supposed to be was like $20, and I went to click on it, and our firewall kind of didn't let me go on the site. It said HTTPS, so I wasn't sure, but it basically blocked me from downloading it. I mean, are they targeting people that just suck at fantasy football? I don't know, but I'm saying it could be on some type of malicious site, right? It doesn't have to be through an email.
Yeah,
Could be something totally non-related. If you're down, like, because if you're going to hit download, you could download anything.
yeah,
And I didn't
yeah, yeah.
bother to check. Good on me. They got me with, "Are you in last place?" Because I was. Thank God we have great security here, but it just goes to show you. But I didn't. I didn't check the website like before which I guess I should have did. But my point is, you're not even thinking. It's nothing to do with business. It's to do with football. I am in last place. They got me, so I went on the website, but our firewall obviously blocked everything. I was like, well, wait a minute, isn't this what I tell people all the time?
Yeah, I mean, we also, with our firewall, we could lock down, just categories. So I don't know what that link was for or what website. It could be a legitimate website, but we do block, like for a lot of customers, they want to block out any type of like sports related websites, gambling
Mhm.
related websites, adults, obviously,
That I
political,
don't do.
politics. We've had some people that want, politics completely blocked. So it is possible that it was probably just a category that we blocked because it's also, with our system, it's also about production. Like a lot
Mhm.
of our, obviously security comes first, but employee production comes into play. We had an employee or a customer that has an employee that he wanted to monitor all the activity for all their employees, and one of them like was off the charts. Like the production was like so low, and then they checked. We dug into it, and this person, the average time they spent on, it was two different websites. I forgot what they were for fantasy football, and the average time he spent was 2.5 hours per day. Um, so a
I hope
quarter
he
of his
wasn't in last
day.
place.
I don't know. I mean, with that much research, I really hope he was in first place. But
Yeah.
so all of a sudden, like that was a huge red flag because it was just off the charts with the amount of
Mhm.
web surfing that was done on there, and we ended up obviously blocking that site and
Mhm.
bringing it to the attention of management.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I know we've gone off into
Yeah,
the Antarctic off topic, but the point is when it's the end of the year is coming, things are getting quiet. It is really a great time to test the network, and the point is like you don't have to do a test like these traditional pen tests, that are very very expensive. And again, if you're a business owner, you don't want a 30-page geek report in hieroglyphics that someone has to, translate to you. So, you could do kind of like a small level one pen test, which essentially is more practical because it's going to go by someone doing something that they're not supposed to, going on a fantasy football site or clicking a malicious link in an email. And then, the question that you want to know is, okay, from that point, like what happens next? What can they access? What can't they access? And, you know, there's a good possibility that if it's AI related, they may not even go after your data and they may go after your clients. And if that's the case and they don't hold your data ransom, like, how do you even know you were breached?
Yeah. One more thing I want to add to that, and I'm sure you've heard me say this too, is in the industry, we always plan on like, okay, in the event they do get in, what do they get, and how long are they able to really search? If studies have found that if we can prevent them from really getting anything for 15 minutes, they will move on. So even if they log in and they're like, all they could access is just bullshit stuff, then 15 minutes are like, all right, there's nothing to be seen here, and they'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the whole thing, is that if they do get in, what can they get? How long have they been in there? How long, does it take them to be able to find whatever they need? If we
Mm-hmm.
can buy 15 minutes because they just hit one brick wall, then another brick wall, then another brick wall,
Mm-hmm.
because things are patched, things are secured, application whitelisting is in place, they can't go out and download something, or even if something is they because sometimes they'll know if they try to do something that it will trigger like an alert, so
Mm-hmm.
they may not really do it.
Right.
So it's
Especially
all
if they're
about,
automated. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Even it could be, putting stuff like what they call canaries in different places. So once a file is even accessed, they know nothing should access that file automatically. It's like a mine and like a
Mm.
grenade. It will just trigger something and then alert. Even if no other actions were done.
Okay. Perfect. Have any last words you want to add?
No, so what are we doing? New Year's after this? Are we doing like the ball
No.
dropping?
Well, actually, we're supposed to do, if we're doing seasonal, you know, we're right before winter now. So we'll probably be doing a Christmas episode, you know, probably one in a few weeks
Well,
when
I
December
think
rolls around.
I think we should definitely do this more often. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. We should.
you know,
We should.
yeah,
I always tell you, let's do it. And you're always busy.
yeah. But
That was a
but
joke. I'm
yeah,
going to
but
yell that.
but you're the one that I tell you. I'm like, all right, are we recording today? You're like, oh, I can't.
I know. I
So
know.
so I'll
That'll be
blame you. You blame me, and
my New
and
Year's
we'll
resolution.
stop blaming me.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until next time, which will probably be in a few weeks. Adios.
Bye, guys.